My guest today is Jay Pettersson, originally from Iran but adopted by a Swedish family at a very young age, so he considers Sweden his home country. He's been living abroad since the age of 19 and having done many fascinating jobs, his heart is in the event industry, where he has been active for the last 15 years. So launching his own event and HR company Pink Palms was no surprise to anyone. As a master of networking, you will rarely come across a person who hasn't met or heard of Jay, and everyone has nothing but good things to say about him. We will be talking about his childhood, his work and mindset, his mentors, and of course about the various projects he's working on. Enjoy!
And then I started working as a bartender at the same time, because that I enjoyed as well. Because then you could basically, that was actually kind of like, you went out an evening, but instead of being on that side of the bar, you were on this side of the bar, you had as much fun, and you didn't spend money, you actually made money.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And you remember the night.
Yeah, exactly.
So why do you think all these opportunities came to you? Like, it's not normal when a person says, oh yeah, I got opportunities in Switzerland, here, there, like, I don't know where to go next. Like, why do you think that happened to you, or still keeps on happening to you? Because I know it.
Yeah. I think...
you need 3 other J's.
Yeah, exactly.
Clones.
Meeting people. I never judge anyone. I love meeting new people.
Keep an open mind.
Exactly. And you never know who you are meeting. Someone else that I look up to is my better half at home. She is a pretty hardcore businesswoman, an amazing person. So I really look up to her because she's taught me a lot of things as well.
How was the experience of them telling you that you were adopted, or what age did they tell you, and how did you take it? Hello everybody. Hello Jay.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm very good, thank you. And yourself?
I'm very good,
Good.
also, and so nice to see you.
Likewise.
And I know it's your first time in Tikitano. I can't believe you haven't been here.
No, and it's a beautiful spot, eh?
It is.
Really.
Really,
Amazing
really.
view.
And without the wind, like today on a calm day, the terrace is so perfect
Yeah, I can
for
imagine.
dining, for events, and for whatever you can think of.
Yeah.
So before we go on, I would like you to introduce yourself and just tell a little bit about yourself, or a lot about yourself.
A lot
if you
about
want.
myself, my gosh.
Okay, let's go.
Oh, yeah, my name is Jay.
Yes.
I'm Swedish, even though I don't have the blonde hair and the blue eyes. I'm originally actually adopted from Iran. I came to Sweden when I was just a couple of months old. Brought up in Sweden. And I lived in Sweden until I was around 19 years old. Moved abroad. Lived abroad for about 10 years. Moved then back to Sweden for 8 years. And then I ended up down here. And I've been here now for a bit more than 9 years.
Wow.
So I've been, most part of my grown-up life, I've been living abroad. Under the sun and the palm trees, which I really enjoy. And where I come from is basically I've always been working hard since I was young. Always been doing a lot of sports. I started working already when I was around, 16, 17, something like that. When I was in high school, I worked 2 jobs. And I also worked as a teacher while I was studying. So I actually had 3 jobs.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And I was always sure that I didn't have really good grades, but I got my grades from my parents now when I was home at Christmas. I looked at the grades and I was extremely surprised because I had really good grades. And because in my head I was like, because I was working so much and I had okay grades. I didn't have time to get good grades, but actually I had good grades. I don't know what happened really.
There's a bad memory.
Yeah,
Wrong
exactly.
memory.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, so you were great at school and did 3 jobs.
Yeah.
I mean, wow. And look at you now. Oh, so what are you doing now? Here.
What I'm doing here now I'm doing a few different things.
So what are you not doing? Because I know you do like so many things.
I'm not doing real estate. Kind of,
Yeah.
not. A bit on the commercial side, but that's not by choice. But what I'm doing now, let's say the two new things in my life is Pink Palms, which is an event and HR company. Me and a partner, Tim, started in end of last year, where we work with corporate events, some private events. And I've been in the event industry for, I don't know, around 15 years, mainly corporate stuff. And in terms of HR, my partner, he's an HR expert. I've been working with people and with HR as well, even though I don't have any education for it. But we share the same values when it comes to HR, especially, you know, that one of the most important assets that the company has is the people working in the company. So we focus more on that part and not the more traditional old HR stuff. When it comes to employee branding, culture, talent acquisition, talent mapping, etc. So putting like the people in focus, because what we believe is that all companies, the focus they should have is like, as long as I have staff working within my four walls, we need to have the best version of each and every one. If they are staying with us for 3 years or for 13 years or 30 years, we want to have the best version of them. So that's something that we are working quite a lot with. Something also that has been the talk of town when it comes to HR for the past 2, 3, maybe 4 years. And we have a huge passion of working with people. So that's one of the new companies. The other one is that I recently bought into a wine company. That's 6 months ago maybe. And it was a fairly newly started company with an excellent rosé wine produced at the vineyard in Rioja. Do I know a lot about wine? No. Do I know how to drink wine? Yes, I do.
Me too.
Yeah,
and the wine is really good. I've tried the wine. It's lovely.
And Vigorous is we want to build Vigorous a bit different from normal wine companies. We will add more products, obviously, both more rosé wines, whites, reds, but we also want to add, for example, what we have been working on for quite some time now, very high premium olive oil, for example. And we want to kind of brand the company a bit different from what you're used to when you see a wine company.
Okay.
So that's something that is really, really interesting. I learn a lot about the wine industry and the wine production. One of the partners, he's been basically, probably drank wine before he drank water. He knows everything about wine, and Juan is a really good teacher because he doesn't get nerdy, but he teaches us the things that we need to know, which is kind of, you know, for me, makes the wine even better when you taste it, when you start knowing more about it.
So what's the most useful thing you've learned about drinking wine or appreciating wine, or something about the wine business that
don't drink too much. No. No, it's actually I think it's the whole process behind creating wine. From basically when you're walking down at the vineyards and see the whole process from until you have it in the bottle or in your glass. It is very, very impressive. It takes a lot of passion, a lot of knowledge, obviously, and
a lot of work.
Yeah, it's a lot of work. And as you know, there is a lot of wine out there. A lot that is amazingly good, and some that is not that good. But that was I kind of had some idea before, obviously, but it was first visit in Rioja was really, really interesting, and just made me see even more potential for Vigorous. So yeah, that's something that I wouldn't say that I dreamt of having a wine company, but I always enjoyed wine, and now I got an opportunity, and
you couldn't say no.
No, and the funny thing is that when you tell that to people like, yeah, I'm in the wine industry, everyone's like, wow, that's really cool. It seems like a lot of people really want to get into the wine industry.
Something like it is not, I don't want to say a hobby, but it's something that you do it because you also love it too.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah, exactly.
It's not a business to make you a millionaire. It's something that you really love doing, and like
exactly.
you said, you learn so much along the way.
But I can say that starting with the rosé wine is a bit challenging because there is a lot of amazing rosé wines out there, and I know there is some of the brands look beautiful, have a beautiful product, but it is more like a hobby project. And some people then, like ask, is that a hobby project? It's like, no, it's absolutely not, because we have a very clear vision and mission of what we want to do with Vigorous. So it's absolutely not a hobby, and we are not, like, obviously we have a focus here in Spain, but we already are discussing with several of distributors in different countries. So
you have big plans.
Yeah, absolutely. We don't want to rush anything, but we are not kind of focused on Costa del Sol, Marbella, even though we want to have it here since we live here. We want to have, beach clubs, restaurants, and we are already in a lot of restaurants. So that's it's very exciting, and you never know where we will end up. No, exactly.
We'll see.
Yeah.
But let's go back a little bit back in time and back to Sweden. So you said you started working really young.
Yeah.
What was that drive that pushed you to work? Because there's a lot of kids now. They're not doing much, not even after school, not going to the university. So what is that? Did you always have that drive in you? Did you wanted to be an entrepreneur, or was the money the motivator, or you just like to be busy?
You know what? I don't think it was the money. Money obviously, was played a part in it, but I think it was more that I did stuff that I thought was fun. For example, where I come from is like northeast from Gothenburg, Sweden, and in a small town, but we had ski slopes, and I loved to ski. So I started working in this small, I don't know, you could even call it a resort, but at the ski slopes, and eventually I ended up working with the ski rentals and all these kind of things, and I really loved it. It was really nice. And then I worked with people, so I started doing that on some evenings, weekends, and then I was part running that shop. So I continued doing that because I really enjoyed it,
And obviously you were good at it, because otherwise you don't start running a shop.
I think I was. I had no one that broke their legs or whatever.
I think you're just very, very good with people. You really are a people person.
Yeah, and I really enjoy working with people. Yeah. And then I started working as a bartender at the same time, because that I enjoyed as well. Because then you could basically, that was actually kind of like you went out an evening, but instead of being on that side of the bar, you were on this side of the bar. You had as much fun, and you didn't spend money. You actually made money.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And you remember the night.
Yeah, exactly. So that I did on weekends. Then I was studying during like Monday to Friday, and I was also working as a teacher in a school just close to my school, and then where I was doing like the sports stuff. So
you were teaching sports.
Yeah. So and I was also the chairman in two different kind of. It was I don't know what you call it really, like faculties in our school. So I could always excuse myself from the lessons without giving a reason, which I often did. And then I was asked to go to the other school and teach sports there. So I didn't spend super much time in school, which I was a bit surprised now when I saw my grades. They were actually really good.
Impressive.
Yeah, exactly. So I was working a lot, and I was not driven by money. I did things that I thought was really fun, and working in that school next to our school was fun because they had some problems with the mix of like Swedish kids and kids that came from other countries that moved to Sweden. So there was like fights and all these kind of things, and I managed to help the school out at quite a few occasions to get this sorted out.
So this bullying and
exactly, and that was something that I really hate bullying and stuff like that. And
did you ever feel that in school? Since, like you said, you're not blonde and blue eyes like a typical Swedish.
No, not really.
They were kind to you.
No, I think also because the schools I went to were it wasn't a lot of racism and stuff, so I never really had that problem. So no, also I never really been bothered by it. Obviously, you know, over the years you always have someone coming and saying like stupid stuff. And even though I have a quite hot temper, often I just like think it's so ridiculous that I don't even address it. But of course it has existed, and it still does until today. But no, I definitely not a big problem at all. I don't think any of the, because I was not the only one. We were a few that were adopted, so I don't think anyone really had a problem with it. So, but it was really nice to be able to help the kids in that school, or help the school as well sort out the problems. So yeah, it was quite busy few years.
and then after school, you said you left Sweden to go
Yeah.
to abroad. What happened? Why did you want to leave?
It was basically because when on the graduation year we went on a trip to small island in Greece, Kos. Just kind of a final trip before everyone went their ways, you know. And some of my girlfriends in my class, they got jobs while we were there that week.
Wow.
So they were like, "Yeah, we're going back over the summer," and I was like, "Shit,
Oh,
that seems nice." Yeah, so I went to, since I've been working as a bartender, it was one of the bars where one of the girls were working at, so I went with her, talked to the owner and said like, "Yeah, come down and work as a bartender." So I went home and I told my parents like, "Guys, I'm going to Greece this summer."
Okay.
And of course, yeah, well, Dad was, "Yeah, okay, you should do it." Mom was like, as moms
Surprised.
are, it's like, "Are you sure?" Yeah, yeah, exactly, scared. But they were supportive. Yeah, they were very supportive. So I went there, worked the summer, came back to Sweden because then I had the full-time job over the winter in the ski resort thing. Was called during that winter, asked to come back to Greece, so I went back to Greece again. Worked at a Swedish beach club called Grabbarna Graus, which was quite famous at that point. And during that summer, I got a call. I was actually not working. That first year when I was working as a bartender, I just did that for 2-3 weeks, and then I started working for a tour operator, a Swedish travel agency. And they called me the second summer and asked if I wanted to go to their. They had a school in Mallorca for, I think it was 8 weeks. So I went there to kind of study and become a tour guide. And then after that, and the thing was that I never finished the school because they sent me off to Gran Canaria to work. So I really never came home until after 10 years.
You stayed in Gran Canaria?
No, I was mainly, I was Spain, Greece and Turkey.
Between those countries?
Yeah, for about 6.5 years.
So you kept on moving from job to different jobs. So how many jobs do you think you had? You can't even count, probably, no?
No, but the thing is I had the same. I was working for the tour operator for about 13 seasons.
Okay.
And then I
Different
stopped.
destinations.
Yeah, exactly. I was in Thailand for 1 season as well. And then I stayed abroad because I got some opportunities. I was helping opening up a couple of real estates. I got a really nice opportunity in Turkey to where I got a rooftop. And the owner just asked me like, "What can you do with this?" So I designed and built a lounge nightclb.
So you did everything, like, or you just managed everything?
No, I created all the design, everything. Had no clue what I was doing really, but because it was fairly easy because at that point the type of modern design that you would find in Europe didn't exist there. So I was just taking a lot of inspiration from different clubs and bars and restaurants in Europe, and
copying that a little bit.
Oh my God, it was like sometimes I was thinking like, shit, what am I doing? But yeah, they just listened, and the thing was that you had always to look very carefully because if you told them to do one thing, they could end up doing something different. So it was a very intense period before we opened. And in the end, it became a really beautiful place. So I helped them run it for the first 3 months, and after that, I moved back to Sweden after 10 years. And
so what made you go back? You've been 10 years abroad, Thailand, Greece, you name it, and then
well, actually, the reason why I went back was actually because my mom she got breast cancer. And my sister, I have a sister that she's 5 years older than me. She already moved out. My dad was working a lot, so I felt like it was time for me to move home and to be with my mom, which I did. And I'm really, really happy today that I did that, and everything went well, luckily. At the same time, I got offers in Turkey, Austria, Spain, Thailand, but I just decided to stay. And then I got one more offer from Norway, and it wasn't too far from home, where I was asked to open up a new business for a big ski resort. So I went there for 7-8-ish months, and then I came back again in Sweden and stayed there for 8 years.
To keep an eye on your mom.
Yeah, she was well at that moment, but that was the main reason why I went back. Otherwise, I probably would stayed, because I'm not sure, but I got some really great opportunities presented to me, so I would probably, and Sweden wasn't like an option.
So why do you think all these opportunities came to you? Like, it's not normal when a person says, oh yeah, I got opportunities in Switzerland, here, there, like, I don't know where to go next. Like, why do you think that happened to you, or it still keeps on happening to you? Because I know it.
I think
you need 3 other Jays.
Yeah, exactly.
Clones.
No, I think that it's
what makes you special? So what is it that you do so good?
What makes me special? That you should ask my mom.
You are special. Yeah.
No, I would say that I always been really good at networking without actually networking. So meeting people. I never judge anyone. I love meeting new people.
Keep an open mind.
Exactly. And you never know who you are meeting. And I think also because I am a quite easy guy, people like me, you start kind of to learn to know them better and better, and then you start creating a relation, and that's actually what it is, more relation than it's networking. So I, in a very early stage, created a quite huge network in all the countries where I lived in places.
But obviously you have skills too, because obviously you haven't studied events or managing or even like designing a place, but you kind of have an eye for it all, I think, and you adapt and learn quickly.
Yeah.
That must be probably part of your skill set to go in and open ski resorts and manage and hold big events and things, because there's so many aspects to it.
I don't know if I'm like really super good at one thing, really. I would say that if it would be something, if I would have a superpower, that would probably be people, working with people. And a lot of opportunities have come to me because I have a huge network, but not only that, in combination that some people actually like what I've been doing or seen what I've been doing before, and I always try to stay very humble. A bit too humble, I think, or at least to a lot of my friends, where I don't, I've always been really bad of actually taking money when when I over the years when I've been helping people with different things. So I think that also has been helping a lot, that being humble, always respectful.
For sure.
Of course, you meet a lot of assholes over the years, but
you block them out.
Then don't spend your time, don't spend any energy on them. It's better you put your energy towards the people that really appreciates it and deserves it. So I would say that probably a lot of opportunities. I really don't like to say it, but it's like probably because of me then. Because of my personality, and exactly.
So what do you consider your biggest accomplishment so far? Because you still have a long life to go, but so far.
Wow. My biggest Wow, that was a tough one.
Yeah. We can take a moment. We can take a break, and we'll be back in 5 minutes.
Yeah. No, it's I don't know. Might sound a bit sad, but it's like I never when I was doing a lot of sports, but I was never really good at one thing, because I did a lot of different sports. I always been involved, even though I had like been working in companies, I always had like projects on the side and all these things. And a lot of people like ask me like, how are you managing? Because like for me it's like I can only focus on one thing, and that might also be one of my skills, that I am able to focus on various things, not at the same time obviously, but like I have a way of working. So I think it's really hard to say what my biggest accomplishment is. I think we have to circle back to that one.
Or what do you consider success, for example? What do you think success is, or being successful? What do you think that means to you?
Success is whatever you make it, really, because obviously it's good to listen to people that have been successful, but that helps you, that hopefully inspires you. But being successful or success for you it is exactly what you decide it to be, because it could be like the smallest thing.
Yeah, but what does that mean to you, for example? Because it's very different. Some people it's only about career or money or being maybe a good parent or maybe being good in sports.
A big success for me would be to be able to live the life that I want to live, and that's not driven of solely on money. I got a plan to make like hundreds of millions. Money always helps, but that's not what really moves me forward.
It's not the main goal.
No, exactly. So being successful for me is to have a good life where you have your family close to you, where you have really good friends that you can rely on. You're working with things that you really enjoy. That you don't. It's not like you jumping out of bed in the morning, but when you wake up, you really like looking forward to the day. Some days are more shitty than others, but and that's normal. But that is being successful, and because I never really been like, okay, now I would become one of the top 10 in the world on AI, or I want to build the biggest event company in Spain or in Sweden. If I would have that drive, that would be my success, when I reach that point. So yeah, no, I am very ambitious. I have a lot of things in here, but being successful is to have a good life. It's we only have one. Make the most out of it, and the people you have the closest, and they play a huge role and part of my life, which is very important. And that's like having them is part of the success.
Totally. Is there any mentors or like anyone you look up to or who has taught you a lot in life, or some kind of podcast that you follow, or is there someone who drives you or you look up to?
I don't listen to podcasts because I don't know. Of course, yours, yeah. Of course. No, I do. Actually, the only one. I don't know why I don't listen to podcasts. It's because I don't have time. And then people say like, yeah, well, but then listen to it in the car or whatever. But as soon as I don't meeting anyone, I'm always on the phone.
Yeah, you're a very busy guy.
Yeah. So I even get up, like when I get up 4:30 in the morning, like yesterday I had a call with South America. The morning before I had a call with Asia. So it's like, there's always someone you talk to.
I can imagine.
Yeah. But
another
I actually
offer here, another offer there.
Yeah, no, but it's not only in the event industry. It's like always also connecting with friends that are living in different time zones. But look up to, of course, I look up to my parents, which I think a lot of people do. But also because the fact that I've been very fortunate since I was adopted from Iran, not long before the big war, and so they've been like, I always looked up to them. I still do. My dad and me, we are very, very different. So I always like he's taught me a lot in life, and he's kind of a role model in some ways. So yeah, I've always been, and I still am, looking up to him. Someone else that I look up to is my better half at home. She is a pretty hardcore businesswoman, an amazing person. So I really look up to her because she's taught me a lot of things as well. And she has, we have often very different views on things. And we are both quite stubborn, but we learn a lot from each other, and I've learned a lot from her. And that's definitely someone that I admire and look up to. But
and who drives you as well.
Exactly. And then I never really had anyone else really. I had a mentor when I was starting start working in the tourism industry. It was my manager, and because he taught me a lot of good things that I never really realized myself, was that because at that point I was a pretty big guy as well, and often when I went into meetings with hotel owners, etc., their first impression was often like, "Who the heck is this?" Like a big guy, and I was walking like I owned the whole room, and I didn't realize, and that was the feedback my manager got. But all of them also said, as soon as he opened his mouth and we started talking to him, he was like a super nice guy.
Yeah.
And so that was the absolute first thing my mentor taught me. Like, you need to start thinking of like the impression you give when you walk into a room. And that's something that I have been working on, and I still am, because you can still improve. It kind of depends on what kind of room you go walking into and what kind of people it is. Because I don't want people to look at me like he walks in like he owns the whole fucking place. That's absolutely not.
You don't want to look arrogant, because you're not arrogant.
No, and here's the reason why is because you don't get a chance to talk to everyone.
Yeah.
So some people, they will leave. You haven't talked to them.
Yeah, but they have an impression of you.
Exactly. So, and that was one of the first things. And he taught me a lot of things as well. Other than that, I don't know. I think that I kind of figured out a lot of things myself.
You seem like a wise guy. So.
Wow, thank you.
So you can write a book yourself, and we can all learn of your
Oh, no, I don't know
life
about that.
lessons.
I don't know about that. But it's no, I think, and also for me, it's really hard to say where I got my inspiration. And
as you traveled so much, you met so many people. I guess all of them have
it's
played
like bits
some
and pieces.
kind of
Exactly.
part of your life.
Yeah.
I think always the people you work with, you learn from everyone.
Yeah.
Always. And that's probably where your skills come from, because you don't go to any university or courses. You have a very good probably eye, and you're adapting really quickly and learning from all the people. So
yeah,
I guess,
it's
that's
pretty spot on, I guess.
This episode is brought to you by Besaya Beach and Tikitano by Besaya. Visit my website to find out more about these beautiful restaurants.
So you mentioned your parents, how you look up to them.
Yeah.
How was the experience of them telling you that you were adopted? At what age did they tell you, and how did you take it?
That is a very good question, because I don't know. I can't say how old I was and when, and I don't even know if they told me or if I kind of figured that out myself. Because.
But do you remember some kind of conversation about it?
Absolutely not.
No, really?
I don't.
Wow. So it was like self-explanatory.
Yeah, I think so. And also because, and I obviously figured out that my sister wasn't my real sister, because she's adopted from South Korea and I'm from Iran.
She looks very different.
Yeah, exactly. But also we grew up together. It was one of my dad's best friend. They built a house next to us, and they had twins, 2 guys adopted from Thailand, and they had a daughter adopted from Colombia. So we were like.
You already had like.
Yeah, it was like we looked like a circus sometimes. We were all together because all were from different countries. So I know it was like a very natural thing already from the beginning.
And I guess it was good growing up like in a community like that. You didn't feel like you're an outsider, that you are the only one,
To be honest, I don't think that really matters so much, because we grew up where we grew up. It was we felt it was really safe. We had a lot of amazing people around us. So there was no one, there was no racism, nothing. So I don't think that actually matters so much.
Just sometimes I think kids just want to look like each other, they want to belong, and if someone of them looks different, they start bullying. Not everywhere, but it is a little bit like that. So if one is looking or has different features like the eyes, just kids are very, not even in a bad way, but they're like, why does he or she look different, you know?
Yeah.
They have these questions. But like you said, you grew up in that kind of community, and I guess it was kind of a norm, and everyone was friendly and nice, and you don't have questions like that.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's. I think I know it's very different for a lot of people. A lot of.
It depends where you were raised, obviously, and
Yeah,
by who.
Yeah,
I guess
exactly.
your parents did a really good job.
Yeah, they did an amazing job, and I never had any issues or I never really spent a lot of time thinking, you know, of my roots
About it.
and these things. I know it. I talked to a lot of other adopted, not kids, people, and they've been trying to find the roots, and some have. They did find the roots, but I never really. I don't know why. I think it was because I had a really good childhood, a really good home, with amazing parents. I think that was. I believe that's the main reason why.
So you've never been to Iran?
No, I have a lot of friends from Iran, and I actually became more and more curious when I grew up, because there were so many of my friends. They said like, it's not very common to be adopted from Iran. So a lot of people friends, you know, they spoke to their families in Iran, and they were like, wow, you know, just tell the guy that if he needs help to try to find his roots, we are all in, you know. And eventually I started to think about it more like a funny thing, because
Like a
if I would
project.
go there and I would find my biological parents, they would still not be my parents, you know. And I actually had a plan. It was one of my friends. He said like, I'll take you now, let's go. That was 2, maybe 3 years ago, because I really want to go to Iran, because everyone's, you know, with all my friends telling me like how an amazing country it is, I would love to go there. But then it would happen some stuff in Iran that, you know, we couldn't go. But I still want to go.
Still a bucket list.
Yeah, do I believe that I will find my parents? Not sure, because I was left in an orphanage. So I have a map with a lot of papers, but I don't think that it would be super easy to, even though if I would do it like 20 years ago, I don't think it would be very easy.
And nothing is impossible. If you want something, you'll definitely get it.
Exactly.
So let's talk about wanting stuff and getting it. Do you believe in law of attraction and manifesting and energies and frequencies and stuff like that? What are your thoughts?
I believe in energy, definitely, because I try to avoid people who kind of have a bad energy.
vibe.
Yeah, and at the same time, like they have a bad vibe, but I'm really interested in odd people. Because let's say you go to a dinner with friends, and you know there is some people that is a bit odd, or at least they're odd to me. I often sit and talk to them, more like during the whole dinner, because it's for me it's really interesting, and it can be like I even though for me I'm thinking like shit, this person is really dumb or really strange or whatever, you know, or have really strange views. I'm really interested, you know, and I don't know really what I'm doing with that afterwards, but that really I have a huge interest in that. But energy in general, you know, like if we would have been in a big dinner, you know, and if I would sit next to some guys and it's really bad energy, I wouldn't mind just moving.
Swapping.
Because I can talk to anyone. I can be,
Yes.
often I'm the guy that, if you go into a wedding or whatever, I'm always the guy they put next to the one that never says anything, because, you know.
Because no one wants to sit
No,
next to
exactly. But
But law of attraction, or like having a goal, you think like, okay, like you said, like, I don't know, maybe you, want that car, okay, you know, I'm going to get that car in a year, or I want that company, or I want to do that event, or I want to do that, and then you get it. Have you had this kind of experience? Or you're not like that goal driven?
I am. And of course it feels amazing when you achieve a goal. It is, absolutely.
Because I do. I write things down almost like every year. Sometimes I go through things every month.
Yeah.
Or like even with my podcast, I set some goals, and then when I get it, I like do my happy dance.
I mean, you should celebrate.
So, yeah.
And that's something.
Because it's working, and this is like proof also to yourself. It's working, like keep doing it, keep believing,
Yeah, and that's 100% right. And I think that I always use that when I coach people as well. That
yes, you're a coach as well.
Yeah.
My God, we can't even cover everything.
No, we need to have like 2-3 episodes.
We will.
No, but it is extremely important, and you should like set goals that are achievable. And every time you achieve something, celebrate. It's like I set my goal to buy that handbag, for example, or I want to go out and have a great dinner and spend money on a really good bottle of wine or champagne or whatever. Then do it. Don't feel like, oh, no, it's a waste of money. I buy something cheaper. No, do it. Because that makes the goal so much more like the goal is important. You achieve the goal, and when you celebrate and you celebrate your own efforts of reaching that goal, that is extremely important because that gives you fuel to go for the next goal. So, and I love to achieve my own goals, of course, but I think I am kind of I'm probably better of teaching that and making people achieve the goals and celebrate and all these things than I actually do myself. Could be because I'm trying to celebrate every day. No, but it's no, yeah, but I definitely, and I could probably be better of setting up more goals for myself than I do. But for example, we have a clear goal with the companies that I'm part of, all 4 of them, to be like what we want to achieve, and that's what we're going for. Otherwise, it's not a company, then it's a hobby. Because when you have a hobby, you don't really have that goal in the same way.
Yeah. And what are some of your goals, or what do you wish to achieve maybe in 5 or 10 years, or where do you see yourself?
Where do I see myself? I see myself still having the success that I have today in terms of living a good life. The companies are running well. We're happy. Probably been through a lot of problems that taught us a lot, made us grow even more. Do I have more money in the bank? Maybe. Do I have more close friends?
Probably. Surely.
Maybe, yeah. Do I need? No, not really, because I have amazing friends, but most likely I will have. But for me, it's more about experiences. So in 5 years, I have a lot more experience, not only experience in terms of work, but experience from traveling, from exploring new things, both on the private side, but also on more corporate on work side. So that I think that's where I see myself, and that is a big part of continuing being successful.
And definitely under the palms. No?
Definitely under the palms.
Moving.
Yeah, no.
So we're coming down to Marbella now. What made you then choose Marbella as your base, since you've traveled so much? All tropical places, Thailand, Gran Canaria. You've seen so much. What makes Marbella the place to be?
That was actually a coincidence, because I never when I moved here, I never been in Marbella at all.
So you moved here without knowing.
Exactly, because I lived 3.5 years in Spain, 2.5 years in Gran Canaria, and 1 year in Mallorca. So I never been on Costa del Sol at all. So when I met Anja 16.5 years ago, her family had a house down here. She grew up down here. She lived on and off here in Denmark, and she had it. So we started using that as a summer house. So we would spend a lot of time down here, weekends during the summer, and then we both agreed very early that we wouldn't live 100% in Sweden, because of the weather and everything. So we decided that at one point we'd move down here.
But it was like a natural process.
It was, yeah. because
Like, we're living here.
no. And the plan was basically like, okay, let's not decide when. But that was also after the big crisis, 2008. It took quite a long time for Spain to recover. So we were like, okay, if we're moving down there, we need to start something. And we were trying to kind of figure out what to start. But then she got headhunted down here from a company. So suddenly we just moved very quickly to Spain, which was totally fine. So I moved. When we moved there, it wasn't new because we spent a lot of time here, and we had friends living here. And at the same time we moved here, we had a lot of friends who moved at the same time. And after we moved down here, so we have a lot of friends, or a lot of my old friends from Sweden that lives here now as well. So it's a lot of old friendships and a lot of new friendships.
Yeah, that always makes it easier too, when you kind of bring your own people.
Yeah, exactly. And Costa del Sol, especially Marbella, is not a hard place to like and to enjoy yourself.
Yeah.
So felt like home immediately.
I'm not gonna even ask you what do you love about Marbella, because it is quite obvious. But what do you think is missing in Marbella, or even like business-wise? Like, what do you think if someone wants to come here and start something? What do you think is missing, or what do you miss also living in Marbella?
That I will not tell you, because then someone might steal my ideas. No, what I've seen. I can't really answer exactly what I miss right now. Yeah, actually, what I do miss, I miss some event spaces that you can use, that I've seen a lot in Sweden and in many other countries that we don't really have here.
Like big ones you're talking about, no?
Big ones,
or even small ones?
No, not small. Yeah, not small ones,
scale.
but like big scale or average or whatever you want to call it. Because otherwise, you're depending on all the hotels, you know. That's something that I miss. But in terms of business, I've seen it. The business part has grown quite a lot the last few years. I would say after COVID, because after COVID,
really boomed.
A lot of people moved here, because then, since a lot of people work remotely, now they can work remotely from Spain. So it came a lot of new business people to this area. And there is one co-working space that opened up in Marbella, I think it was last year, the Pool, which is a really, really good co-working space, and it's a lot of interesting people, a lot of interesting companies. And just having that co-working space compared with the other type of co-working space that existed before, this one kind of brought the whole business part to the next level. And we are right now in our event company, Ping Palms, we are looking into creating a new business network, because it seems like there's a huge demand. There is some, but we want to do it slightly different. And again, not like networking with business cards, more creating relations. So that's something that I've seen grown, and that's something that I see we still can, develop. So exactly what is missing, it's like bits and pieces of the whole business environment that can become better. Absolutely.
And it's slowly getting there, I think.
Slowly we're getting there. And other things that are missing is like more things, because there is always, you're building a lot of new private properties, some new commercial ones, but we need to be, we need to be better at kind of adding on the things in between, as I call it, when it comes to sports, paddle clubs, tennis clubs. It could be new modern miniature golf or whatever. It's like there's so many things, activities. And Marbella, I think that town is doing it really well, because they are adding more and more.
But there is still more space.
Yeah, it definitely is. Because that will help having more that Marbella will feel more alive during the winter. Because right now in the winter is quite dead. It's getting better and better. But all these kind of, if you have all these activities in between, that might have people to stay also over the winter, because a lot of people I speak to, they say like there is nothing to do over the winter, because you can't go in the ocean, you can't be on the beach.
I would argue that for me winter is the best time, as when I live here, and I can't wait to escape the summer, because July, August for
Yeah.
me is terrible. But I agree. Like also, I'm quite busy because I have kids, so
Yeah.
they keep me busy, and I'm happily with them on the beach in December as well, because we can have amazing weather in December,
Yeah.
January. But you're right. Like when the kind of a little bit bad weather comes,
Yeah.
we're all like, what to do now? Where
Yeah.
should we go? Like not so much,
True.
not so many options, or even like the cinema for
Yeah.
me like could be better.
Yeah.
Like a few of these things. But obviously we have 300 days of sunshine. People really don't want to be so locked up in the houses, but yeah,
Exactly.
I see also a lot of potential with like smaller businesses here.
Yeah, definitely.
So let's talk. What do you do in Marbella when you have a day off? Or what are your favorite hobbies?
Wow, when I have a day off,
Which is never.
which kind of never. It's quite blurry. Now, when I'm off, I play a lot of paddle. I train and going to the cinema. I enjoy food. It's popping up a lot of new restaurants. It's always nice to try some of the new restaurants. In general, I like to spend time outdoors. That's kind of one of the main reasons why we live here, because we really appreciate the 340 sunny days a year. Just long walk with a dog, or just I'm not big on just lying down on the beach, but there's a lot of activities to do outdoors. But spending time with your loved ones. Sometimes it's like smaller groups, sometimes it's bigger groups. That is something that really, gives me a lot of energy to keep on going as well. And sometimes I just love to lie in the sofa for hours watching
Alone?
movies. Yeah, exactly.
So I was gonna say, because you talk so much to people, is there a time where you're totally alone as well?
Yeah,
Do you need that time to recharge totally alone?
Yeah, I do, and I have that alone time every morning when I go for my walk, unless I'm on a call. But yeah, I really enjoy just being home, not like talking to anyone or seeing anyone. Really need that sometimes. So yeah, that is also a very important thing for me.
Take that time.
Yeah, it's like probably eating a lot of things that I shouldn't eat, and just watch movies and relax.
That's the best.
I'm a master of siestas, so I like have a couple of small siestas in between. That kind of recharge is both physically and mentally. So just being home with a small family is extremely rewarding and very important for me.
So you mentioned food and drink and wine. Let's talk about some of your favorite places here, favorite restaurants.
Oh.
Don't name them all, just name
No.
the top 3, and then the rest will be on my
Top-
blog.
Top 3.
It can be, I know this is so impossible to choose, but like the first 3 that come to your mind, I'd be like, okay, today I have lunch there and dinner there. And
The first one that pops up in my mind is a very old and a very close friend of mine that opened a restaurant. Is it like 2.5 years ago? It's called Fat Mama. And it's also might be because I have my own pizza on the menu there. But I will.
I haven't tried it yet.
Oh, you should.
We're going after.
Yeah, and it's because I've been part of his ideas and plans from the beginning. I was helping test the whole menu in the beginning, and he's been doing a great job. So that, of course, that is one of my favorite spots. Then there is a bunch of good restaurants, and I'm always like, okay, what do I want to eat today? I want to eat meat, then I go there. If I want to have Thai, then I go there.
So your favorite meat restaurant, for example? Best steak in town?
Best steak in town.
It's hard, no?
It is because there's so many good
Yeah,
places.
there is.
Yeah. So it's I normally I enjoy the small restaurants. I don't mind sitting on an old shitty plastic chair and just have the food in front of me that it kind of just amazes me, and it's like cooked with so much passion and love. I don't need to sit on one of the new trendy restaurants that you're supposed to go there. You're supposed to have dinner there, etc. That's not important for me. I do enjoy good food, both like Michelin star food, but I also really appreciate the local stuff, the simplicity in food.
Me too.
So it kind of, again, depends on the occasion and what you feel like. So at the same time, I'm pretty easy when it comes to food. I can be quite demanding as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Depends on your mood.
Yeah, exactly.
So anyway, before we wrap this up,
Yeah.
we can go on forever, but is there any kind of advice you would give to people coming here who are thinking of living here, maybe working remotely, or maybe they want to start a business or start a career? What kind of advice would you give to people wanting to come to Marbella, as it's becoming so popular now?
I would say that do your homework, because and homework in terms of making sure, like, okay, what do I need to work in Spain? What kind of possibilities is there in Marbella? Because if you look in Marbella, it's like you can't compare it with Madrid, Barcelona, Valencia, Sevilla, because there isn't that many work opportunities unless you're working in the restaurant business or in the hotel business. So it's like, do your homework. If you got a family and got kids, you definitely need to do your homework. When in terms of schools, the cost of schools, which is very different from a lot of countries. If you're moving here and you just want to kind of run away from home and move down to the sun, get a job, absolute worst thing you can say is, because I got a lot of people who ask me, like, okay, I'm looking for a job, and I ask them, okay, what do you want to do? I can do everything. I can't help anyone who says, I can work with anything. So I don't know where to start. Who should I call, or where should I look? So have kind of a plan, even if like have different options. Like, just don't say I can do whatever.
And how important would you say Spanish is? How is your Spanish?
Oof. Embarrassingly
I guess
bad.
not so important.
No, it is. I understand a lot, and if I'm kind of have a gun to my head, I will be able to speak.
Okay,
but
bring the gun.
But I am extremely embarrassing, because if you think about it, now I've been here for over 9 years, before 3.5 years.
It happens to a lot of people. Don't beat yourself up.
No,
but,
it is really. I didn't have a private teacher once. I studied for 2 months, and then she went on holiday, and I never got back to it afterwards.
No.
Maybe she's on holiday still. I don't know.
But I do think we all speak better with a bit of vino in us.
Probably.
You probably need more
Yeah,
vigorous
exactly.
to speak
But
better.
it is important, because it opens so many more doors.
For sure.
100%, it does. So yeah, you can move here without knowing any Spanish. If you don't know any Spanish, try to learn Spanish. If you got the Spanish, you have a totally different opportunities.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect. Anyway, thank you so much for your
Thank
time.
you very
Because I
much
know
for
time is
having me.
money. So I have a little gift also from my brand, as you know.
Oh yeah, I know.
So I'll show you what it is and show everyone else what it is. Just, this really goes with your lifestyle. This is Wine Dine 69.
Oh, that's nice.
So that's the plan
Love
for
it.
this weekend.
I love it.
There
I'll
you
have
go.
this one.
There you go.
I'll wear this one. That was a really good one. You came up with that one yourself.
Yeah, this is, yeah.
Beautiful.
But you should have it for vigorous.
Yeah,
Just walk
actually, it's
around
really
with
good.
it.
Yeah, exactly. I will
So
wear
anyway,
it.
thank you
next
so
time.
much.
Thank you very much.
I will link all of your businesses in my blog as well, so you
Thank
can
you.
follow your wine journey and the event company that you do, and whatever else you want to share. You will find in my blog and also on your Instagram, which is public. I'm sure you don't have a private account, no? We will find that out.
I'll
in a
ask my
minute.
social media manager.
Yeah. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
This episode is brought to you by Sommer, sustainable clothing that is comfy and chic. Visit the online shop sommermood.com.